Okay, so this is a very basic flow chart which we'll be learning now. तो हमने क्या किया सबसे पहले कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, we have learned that carbon dioxide plus water, from where they are getting the carbon dioxide from the environment, right? And the water, if they are we can say if they are plants can get water from the earth surface or inside the earth, we can say, right? So carbon dioxide and water are converted into carbohydrates only in the presence of, यहाँ पर हम लिख सकते हैं, in the presence of sunlight. This reaction cannot take place in the absence of sunlight, right? बट अभी हम पढ़ेंगे कि अगर सनलाइट नहीं है तो कैसे ये रिएक्शन होती है. विल बी लर्निंग अबाउट दिस ऑल्सो. तो ये हमारे पास जो कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स हैं, in the presence of carbohydrates and chlorophyll also. और ये जो हमारे पास obtain हो रहा है कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स, these are not, ये ऐसा नहीं है कि तभी के तभी हम उन्हें यूज, प्लांट उन्हें यूज कर लेते हैं. These are stored in the form of starch, which are consumed later on by the plants. जो ह्यूमन डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम होता है उसमें भी कुछ ऐसा ही प्रोसेस हो रहा होता है. द थिंग इज देयर इज समथिंग डिफरेंट, लाइक कुछ डिफरेंस होते हैं वहां पर. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम सिर्फ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एंड वाटर कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं, वी आर कंज्यूमिंग अदर थिंग्स आल्सो, बट वहां पर भी जो एनर्जी है इट इज फर्स्ट स्टोर्ड and then utilized by our body. So the reaction which is taking place when this process is occurring is carbon dioxide plus water. Very important thing that you need to take care of, that we need 6 moles of carbon dioxide and 12 moles of water in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. Chlorophyll and sunlight, it leads to the formation of glucose. This is glucose plus 6 moles of oxygen and 6 moles of water. This reaction you need to remember. तो अभी हम पढ़ेंगे what actually happen when photosynthesis is occurring, right? So photosynthesis का process हो रहा है, तो what are the actual processes which are taking place? So the very first is absorption of energy, absorption of light, we can say. Absorption of light energy by the chlorophyll. सबसे पहले जो लाइट एनर्जी है वो क्लोरोफिल के द्वारा अब्सॉर्ब की जाती है, देन कन्वर्ट किया जाता है उसे, कन्वर्जन ऑफ लाइट एनर्जी टू केमिकल एनर्जी. अभी हम लाइट एनर्जी को एज इट इज तो यूज नहीं कर पाएंगे, एंड देन इट इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू केमिकल एनर्जी, एंड देन splitting of water molecules takes place. Water molecules, किसमें split होगी water molecules? As we have also learned in chemistry, hydrogen and oxygen. We are writing in full, so hydrogen and oxygen. So the next very step is reduction. यहाँ पर reduction होगी, but not the reduction which we used to study in chemistry. It is reduction of carbon dioxide and carbohydrates. Or we can say two carbohydrates. So these are the basic steps that are occurring while photosynthesis. Okay. So only this process is important in this because one, they are converted into carbohydrates in the presence of sunlight, and the next is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll and sunlight के presence में जब carbon dioxide and water are converted into carbohydrates, then the only process is to store them in the form of starch. One more thing which is very important, that not all these processes are taking place at same time, right? ऐसा नहीं है कि plants जो हैं energy को light energy ले रहे हैं, उसी time पर उसे chemical energy में convert कर रहे हैं, उसी time पर जो water molecules की splitting हो रही है. No, this is not the case, right? क्या होता है कि जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड की कंजम्पशन है, this takes place even at night. They used to collect that carbon dioxide at night. No doubt, at daytime also they are consuming that carbon dioxide. But if we are just giving insight into the process, what is happening at night, right? Why we are considering night here? Because at night sun is not present, so light energy cannot be absorbed at night, right? So what happens is they are just consuming the carbon dioxide, and in the presence of sunlight at daytime they are doing all other processes like absorption of light energy and conversion and all other processes. So the basic point here to discuss is that not all these processes are taking place simultaneously at the same time, right? They can happen some at night, some at day, and then we get the whole of result, because the energy which is getting stored in the form of starch can also be used at night time. Okay, so this being the reason, they can also work during the night time. Okay, so in our class 9th, you have already learned about stomata, how the plants are collecting carbon dioxide, how they are consuming it, right? How the plants obtain carbon dioxide and stomata. So just giving an insight into that, there are small pores in the leaves from where the plants are getting carbon dioxide. Okay. So we have a certain diagram like this. Here it is somehow like this. This is a rough sketch of the stomata when it is closed, in case it is closed or shrinked, and when it is open, it is something like this. Right from here, it is touching this very part. So here we have some cells in which guard cells are present. Then there are some chloroplasts and stomatal pore. Right, this is the stomatal pore. Here, these are the guard cells. These parts are same. If this is stomatal pore, this is definitely going to be stomatal pore, and these are going to be guard cell. I'm just trying to distinguish between all the parts so that you can clearly see what we are talking about, right? and here itself we have chloroplast. Okay, so this is a simple and basic diagram of stomata. So this was about autotrophic nutrition. Now we are going to learn about heterotrophic nutrition. Okay, so now we are going to learn about heterotrophic nutrition, right? Okay, so we are going to learn about heterotrophic nutrition. तो heterotrophic nutrition में हम किन के बारे में पढ़ेंगे? बेसिकली द ऑर्गेनिजम्स which cannot generate their own food, जो किसी के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है फूड के लिए, like we human beings. If we are considering about vegetables we are not obtaining ourselves. Vegetables are already a form of living organisms. You must be learning this particular thing in the next coming lectures. So we're dependent on either plants or animals to get our food, right? So we human beings are considered as heterotrophic animals along with the animals. The animals are also heterotrophic. Animals themselves are not, I can say, also heterotrophic because they are flesh-eating animal, or the one who are not eating that, they are dependent on some other factors, right? They themselves are not generating it. So now here we have question: how do organisms obtain their nutrition? वो कैसे फूड जनरेट करते हैं, कैसे न्यूट्रिशन जनरेट करते हैं? इसमें जो हम बेसिकली द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी इज अबाउट न्यूट्रिशन इन ह्यूमन बीइंग्स. Okay, so there is also a case of amoeba, but we are going to discuss it later on once we have done with our rest topics, because this is a special case, right? Amoeba ka jo hai, this is going to be a special case in all the processes, so we are not going to consider it each and every time. We'll be learning about this in as a separate topic. Okay, so now we are going to learn about nutrition in human beings. Okay, so now we are going to learn about nutrition in human beings, and when we are learning about nutrition in human beings, what we'll be learning it will be learning specifically about the digestive system, that is through which the digestion is taking place, right? So इसमें the very first thing is digestive system. So let's start with the figure of digestive system and understand the parts which are responsible for digestion in human beings. Okay, so this is our digestive system. Digestive system में the very first part comes is tongue. Here it is tongue, but we also will be considering some of the glands also, right? So our digestive system starts with this tongue, moving to mouth, or what we call is buccal cavity. This is the buccal cavity. Then is esophagus, and we have diaphragm. There is not any important use of this part in digestion, but still it is considered as a part. Okay, this we have stomach, and here is the gallbladder, that we call gallbladder also. Bile duct is there, which is responsible for secretion of bile juice. Then we have liver, pancreas. Pancreas is of not of that much important use, but still pancreatic juice is released by pancreas, so it plays important role in digestion, right? We have small intestine, large intestine, which is also divided into some certain parts. It is also called as colon, and it is divided into 3 parts that you will be basically learning in the next classes, not in this classes. So we have appendix. This is the last part we can see, and here it is anus. Right, appendix. After right, below the appendix is here it is anus, and there must be one more part called as rectum. So from here excretion takes place. Okay, so सबसे पहले टंग की क्या फंक्शनिंग रहती है? टू मिक्स अप द फूड, right? And it takes place in the buccal cavity. Cavity means space. ठीक है, अगर स्पेस होएगी तभी the mixing of food will take place. What is the role of oesophagus here? The oesophagus is responsible for transportation of food from the buccal cavity to the stomach. Okay, and in stomach there is HCl acid, as we have already learned this in chemistry, that HCl acid is present in our stomach, and there is thick coating of mucus which prevent our skin from the harmful effect of that acid. And HCl acid here is responsible for digestion. It is important there, right? And gallbladder, which stores bile, it just releases the some of the bile juice, and it deals with how much concentration of bile juice is required, right? Again, we have small intestine. The food after passing through stomach goes to small intestine and then to large intestine. Okay, and then it is just excreted. Okay, we'll be learning about the function of each and every part in very detail in our next slides. So let's go to next slide. Okay, so starting with the digestive system, the very first part we have is mouth. Like when we are eating our food, when we are consuming our food, it's directly the very starting point is our mouth, right? So food start its journey from mouth. Mouth से ही उसकी digestion की journey start हो जाती है, और we also call it as oral cavity. There are many other organs that contribute to the process of digestive system, but the mouth is very first part of that. So yes, mouth, maybe we have division, like we have teeth, we have tongue, and also we have saliva, which is released by salivary gland. So the main function of teeth is to, very easy, the main function of teeth is to grind the food into small particles or broke the food into small particles. Okay, तो जो हमारे टीथ हैं वो small particles में हमारे food को break down कर देते हैं. And saliva provides a medium for that food to mix up, and tongue, it mixes the material, right? It mix up the food with saliva. It moisten the food, right? And get it soft. उसे soft बना देता है. And yeah, this was all about. So in mouth we have three. The first one is teeth. Teeth are responsible of breaking down the food into small particles. Breaking down the food into small particles. Then salivary gland releases saliva. Here it is. Saliva is produced by or released by, हम बोल सकते हैं either salivary gland which is responsible for moistening of food and soften it, और इसे soft कर देती है. right? And next we have is tongue. And what is the main function of tongue? To mix up the food with saliva. Tongue is also responsible for taste. Do not forget about this. Food with saliva, not with food only. Saliva. Okay. So this was the main function of mouth in the digestive system. Next we have is then very next part we have is esophagus. अगर आप चाहें तो जो माउथ की भी डिवीजन है, you can write it down in the form of first point, second point, third point, and consider esophagus as fourth point. But if you want to make a proper point, you can consider mouth as one part, and then the division you can write in the form of subparts. Okay. So esophagus क्या है? Esophagus is a muscular tube. It is a muscular tube that connect mouth to upper section of stomach. Okay, and the main function of esophagus is obviously to connect mouth to upper section of stomach and transport the food from mouth to stomach. And students, just keep it in mind that before esophagus in some of the books it is written pharynx. Pharynx is not a we can consider as a part of the digestive system, because the only function of pharynx is to stop the entry, is to prevent the entry of food into the respiratory system. But if you want to write, you can write it in, but this is not very important part of digestive system. So it is also called as food pipe. We also call it as food pipe. Okay. So next we have very important, that is stomach. So stomach serves as muscular bag. It serves as muscular bag which is situated towards the left side of abdominal cavity beneath the diaphragm. It is very vital orbital. It is very vital organ of digestive system, as it acts to store the food. Its function is to store the food until it is being digested. ऐसा तो नहीं है we are consuming the food and it is getting digested in seconds. No, it takes a long time until the food is getting digested. It used to get stored in our stomach. Okay. It is a muscular bag. It acts as it stores food or store food. It produces some of the digestive enzymes. What are digestive enzymes now? Okay, so enzymes are like हम catalyst पढ़ते हैं. Enzymes are the catalyst, we can say, which helps in fastening up the digestion process. Right? Digestive enzymes are very important for the process of digestion. It also releases HCl, as we have already learned that it is important for maintaining the pH level also and the process of digestion also. Okay, तो अभी हम स्टमक के बारे में ही पढ़ रहे हैं. जैसे हमने माउथ को आगे जाकर क्लासिफाई कर दिया था in deep tongue. Here we are writing it as first is mucus. Mucus is very important part, or we can say very important thing that plays an important role in digestion. Mucus क्या है? Mucus is a aqueous secretion which is produced by mucous membrane. It is mucus, or we can say aqueous secretion. It is aqueous secretion by the mucous membrane. और क्या काम है इसका? It protects the stomach lining from the acid, or we can say from the HCl acid, right? So the next we have is digestive enzymes. Here we can draw it something like that. And next we have is digestive enzymes, which are produced in the stomach during digestion. So digestive enzymes are a group of enzymes. These are a group of enzymes which are responsible for group of enzymes breaking down polymeric molecules polymeric macromolecules, we can say polymeric macromolecules into small and simple substances, into small and simple substances. ठीक है, तो digestive enzymes क्या होती है? ये these are group of enzymes, or we can say it functions at catalyst. इनका function होता है कि जो हमारे पास बड़े बड़े particles है, macromolecules हैं, उन्हें किस में convert कर दे? Small and simpler substances, so that these can easily be digested. And इनके ऊपर है जो easily function किया, they can work, like they can easily be digested under the some of the bile juice, under other secretions. तो इससे जो है, जो digestion का process है, वो simple हो जाता है. Next we have is hydrochloric acid. It is a digestive fluid. It is also known as a digestive fluid, which is responsible for digestion, and it is formed by, यहाँ पर हम लिख देते हैं in the form of points also. It is formed by, किसके द्वारा form होता है? Formed by stomach during the process of digestion. Okay, इसका function क्या होता है? To destroy harmful microorganisms present in food particles. So very next we have is small intestine. तो ये जो भी हमने अब तक पढ़ा है, this was till stomach. Stomach से पहले, सबसे पहले हमने mouth के बारे में पढ़ा. Mouth के बारे में हमने क्या पढ़ा? That it has सबसे पहले teeth, then saliva के साथ में mix हो जाता है food, जो teeth के द्वारा small particles में breakdown होता है. Then the tongue helps in mixing up saliva and food, and the food gets softened when it gets mixed with saliva, and then it gets transported to stomach with the help of esophagus. Esophagus is a food pipe. We also call it as food pipe, and it connects food with the upper part of stomach. What we have read in stomach, that stomach is a muscular bag which store food, and it releases digestive enzymes and HCl acid. And to prevent the harmful effects of HCl acid on our body, like it can burn the stomach lining or something like that. So we have mucus present between the stomach lining and the HCl acid, which protects the stomach lining from the HCl acid. And next we have learned about digestive enzymes, that a group of enzymes are responsible for breaking down the polymeric macromolecules to small and simple substances. And HCl, we have also learned about HCl, that it is a digestive fluid which is formed by stomach, and its function is to destroy the harmful microorganisms.